Howdy guys, Tyler Bobo again here. I recently did a video on note investing. I've done a couple videos on that and I've talked about it quite a bit, and what that's talking about is basically lending money, whether you lend money into a deal or you if somebody sells something on owner finance and creates a note, they can sell that and do some cool things with it. So I wanted to give kind of a practical example of both how you could invest into my business or any other investors by creating some notes, and how I turn around and use that. So you can do it for anything like new construction or a rehab project or even a rental, but I want to show you what I do on a kind of a double note deal. I call it a TISCO deal, and it's what was kind of been our bread and butter for a long time in real estate. It works fantastic on small deals. So I'll draw it out on the whiteboard here in a minute, but basically what we'll do is we'll go buy a property, and these are usually really rough. This might be a mobile home on land, it might be a cabin, it might be a foreclosure. Sometimes it's actually just vacant land that we're flipping, and so we'll go buy a property, and I'm going to use the easy numbers of $50,000. So say we buy this really rough property for $50,000, like an old mobile home or cabin, and then it needs some work. And so we're going to put about $10,000 into it to fix it up. Now, when we turn around and sell it on owner finance, we can get a pretty good premium. Not only did we fix it up and make it pretty and fix the broken pipes and things like that, but we're selling two products when we sell something on owner finance. We're not just selling the house or the land and the real estate. We're also selling a mortgage. We're selling a loan and an opportunity. So if somebody can't get a bank loan, and they need an owner finance deal, they're usually willing to pay more interest. And a lot of times they're willing to pay more for the property because their alternative is renting, and we try to structure these to where they can actually own something for cheaper than renting. So let me give you a scenario here and show you how it's a double note type of deal. So the scenario on this one is that we buy a property for $50,000 and it's rough. What we're going to do in most cases is we're going to go get an investor who's interested in making a return on their money. So they're going to basically lend us money to buy this property. Now by doing this, we can write a cash offer even though it's actually investor funds. So we write a cash offer to buy this property for $50,000. We can close quick. We don't need to do inspections if we choose not to. We don't need well and septic and as-built and appraisers and all this crap that makes it more expensive and take longer. It's a cash deal, close quick. So we buy for 50 grand, and we've borrowed that money usually from an investor. So an investor lends us $50,000. It's secured against the property with a deed of trust and a promissory note, which means that if we died or got abducted by aliens, the investor would be able to take that property back. Their money is actually secured. So it's here local, they can drive by it, make sure they're out there, swinging the hammer and doing the thing. So we borrow the $50,000, then we usually put some of our own money into it. So we fix it up for about 10, our own money, our own labor, get the property nice, safe, livable, fix the broken pipes, new carpet, paint, that sort of thing. Then we turn around and sell it. A property in that price range, after we've made it nice and owner finance it, we can usually sell for 110 or 120. This is a scenario that we have done dozens of times and can turn out an affordable, nice product and owner finance it to somebody. So a lot of times this person will have $10,000 or $20,000 down payment. Maybe they got some permanent funds, they got a nice chunk of money from somewhere, they just can't afford a bank loan. The average price of a home here is like 3 times that right now. So maybe they can't afford a full house or the average house, but they can afford something like this. So say they put $10,000 down. Now they've got a $100,000 to $110,000 that they owe us, and we charge the interest on top of that as well. And so what that ends up looking like is every month we make a payment in this scenario where we borrow money, usually, maybe in the 8% range, depending on the deal. So we're borrowing money, we're paying our investors secured against real estate at about 8%, and they'd be making about $495 per month. So in the few months that we're working on the project and reselling it, they're getting that. And then once we've closed with the down payment, we can usually recoup all our holding costs and our actual expenses. So we're into it at that point kind of for nothing because the investor's money is still in it. And then when we have the mortgage that we're collecting on, say for 100 or 110, then we're getting interest on top of that, and the monthly payment coming in is just under $1,000. And so every month when the person pays that mortgage, they're paying the note to us, and they're also paying their taxes and insurance on top of that. So they might be paying $1,200, but about $1,000 goes towards the note. So $1,000 goes to an escrow company, and the $495 or $500 comes out of that, and we make the profit of the $500 thereabouts drops into our bank account every month. Now, of course, there's some risk in that. The buyer might default, and we might have to go get it fixed up and resold. We might have foreclosure costs and cleanup costs, and that does happen. But more often than not, they just need, they need an affordable place to live, and it works most of the time. When we do have to foreclose or take it back and resell it, it's usually not a total loss. We usually do pretty good on that. We just need to make sure that we've got enough money in the account to keep paying our investor every month. They didn't sign up to, to be investors in the same active way. They signed up to get their $495 every month. So that's what we send them. So I'll show you on the whiteboard real quick what that looks like, just for people who are more visual. And hope you enjoyed it. People who are a little bit more visual or need to take in a little bit more time to see this. This is a TISCO style deal. So the investor would come in and bring us a $50,000 investment that we'd pay 8% on for 14 years, which is about $495 a month. That is going to be secured to the real estate. So they do have it actually secured, unlike, stock market investments. So then we would come in and spend about $10,000 on rehab. This is just a typical deal. And by the way, that 14 years, that's just kind of what we've done a lot of times, but the years, the interest, the term, all those things are negotiable. This is just one example. So then we find a buyer for it, and they're going to pay in something like this, usually around $110. And say they have $10,000 down, then that leaves, not only does their $10,000 down, recoup our $10,000 that we had into the rehab. So now we're into it, for about zero. But then they're going to be paying $990 a month, and that's also structured at 14 years. So if they want to pay a little bit less or a little bit more, we can adjust the years to make it affordable for them. But generally, we're trying to make the deal a little bit more affordable than rent. So if rent would be, $1,100 for a place like that, or $1,200, we want this to be a little bit less, because they're also going to be paying taxes and insurance. But they also get the benefits of owning the real estate, like the tax advantages and the appreciation and things like that. So the buyer's payment of $990 minus the payment that we're making, to our investor, leaves about $495 profit per month for about 14 years. So though we don't get the same tax advantages that the end buyer does, such as the tax advantages, and we don't get the appreciation, we're still making a pretty good profit for our work. And so not only the $10,000 that we put into it, there's also an amount of value in the labor on a deal like this. This typical deal would have been something that we're doing all the labor ourselves. So this is one way that people who maybe they can't find good deals, don't want to, or they're just looking for a place to invest money here locally. This is one example. We can also put investors' money to work on new construction deals, lake properties, vacant lots, bigger rehab properties, commercial deals. This is just an example of how somebody can get in the note investing business, because this guy is the investor. They've got a note, so they can sell that note. They can sell part of that note. They can borrow against the note. It's super versatile. Check out my other videos on notes and stuff. And hope you enjoyed the video, and give me a call if you have any questions. I love talking about this cool creative side of stuff. Thank you. Bye.